I didn't argue when Dad pointed at the door. That was the part that seemed to confuse him most. He was standing in the living room, breathing hard, like anger itself was keeping him upright. My sister, Vanessa, leaned against the arm of the couch with her arms folded, her expression almost glowing with satisfaction. "You stole from her," Dad said. I looked from him to Vanessa, then back again. "No," I answered, but my voice sounded tired, not convincing, and that was enough. Vanessa had always understood something about our father that I never wanted to accept. He preferred certainty over truth. She knew how to cry at the right moment, how to shake just enough, how to sound wounded without overplaying it. She told him I had taken the emergency cash she'd been saving from her room, $3,000, enough to sound serious, enough to make him furious. "I knew you were jealous," she'd said through trembling breaths. "But I didn't think you'd actually do something like this." Jealous. That word did more damage than the accusation itself, because Dad already believed it. He believed I resented her promotions, her engagement, her polished life. He believed I was the unstable one because I was still figuring my life out at 26, while Vanessa had mastered the art of appearing successful. So when he told me to get out, it wasn't really about money. It was years of assumption crystallized into one final judgment. Vanessa laughed when I picked up my duffel bag, not loudly, just enough. "Good luck, loser." I remember pausing at the door, not because I wanted to fight, but because in that moment I realized something irreversible. No one there was waiting for my innocence. So I said the only thing left worth saying. "Okay," and I left. For the first night I slept in my car. By the second I was staying in a cheap motel outside town, burning through what little savings I had while trying to understand how your own family could discard you so quickly. But beneath the hurt, something colder was settling in distant. For the first time, I wasn't trying to defend myself. I wasn't texting Dad, wasn't begging Vanessa, wasn't asking relatives to intervene. I was done performing desperation for people who found it convenient. Then, on the third morning, my phone rang. It was my Aunt Elise, Dad's older sister. I almost ignored it. When I answered, her voice was clipped. "Where are you?" I told her. "Stay there," she said. "Your father is about to learn something." I didn't understand until an hour later. Vanessa had used my name. Not just in the accusation, in the actual theft. When she drained funds from a shared inheritance account our late grandmother had left under temporary family oversight, she had moved the money digitally using old personal information connected to me, assuming no one would investigate too deeply once I'd been removed from the house. But financial institutions investigate, and Grandma's estate lawyer definitely did, especially when Aunt Elise, the executor, received automated fraud alerts, security footage, IP logs, bank timestamps. All of it pointed directly back to Vanessa's devices. Not mine. Dad wasn't discovering this privately. He was learning it while sitting across from the estate attorney and fraud investigator. Authority didn't yell, didn't dramatize. They simply laid out the evidence. Precise, professional, final. Vanessa's lie didn't collapse because I exposed her. It collapsed because systems don't care about family narratives. By evening, Dad called me 12 times. I answered none. Then he texted. I was wrong. A sentence that should meant more, but some apologies arrived too late to repair the structure they shattered. Aunt Elise helped me recover part of the emergency housing support Grandma had quietly arranged years ago, something I hadn't even known existed. Apparently, she'd anticipated instability in the family long before I had. That hurt in ways I still can't explain. Vanessa faced legal consequences for fraud investigation and family civil action. Her engagement quietly dissolved within weeks, not because karma struck theatrically, but because trust, once documented as false, tends to rot everything attached to it. Dad came to see me a month later. He looked older, smaller somehow. He asked if I'd come home. I told him no. There wasn't anger in it, just clarity. Home had been a place where I was disposable the moment I became inconvenient. I couldn't unknow that. "I hope you figure out why believing her was so easy," I said. He cried. I didn't. Because grief had already done its work. I built something quieter after that, a smaller apartment, a better job, a life with fewer illusions. People think vindication feels explosive. It doesn't. Sometimes it feels like sitting in peace, knowing the people who dismissed you were finally forced to confront themselves. Vanessa lost control. Dad lost certainty. And I lost the need for either. In the end, karma wasn't revenge, it was exposure. And for the first time in my life, the truth didn't need me to fight for it.